Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing the optimized approach to find out whether a given string is a palindrome. In previous two videos about finding a palindrome, we have discussed easy to understand but less optimized approach. You can go ahead and watch them. I have provided the link below in the description. What is a palindromic string? We have already discussed about it. Let's have a quick review on that. A string that reads same from left to right side and right to left side is a palindromic string. For example, a string mom, M-O-M, it reads same from left to right and from right to left. So let's discuss about its approach. So target of this approach would be to compare both the ends of the string simultaneously while moving towards the middle. So we have this string example here. When we look at the string, what are we trying to check? Let's visualize this as we think along. We are trying to check whether the given string reads same from left side and right side. Let's use some kind of pointers. I'm using this dots, green and red dot. They represent the endpoints. So we start with checking both the endpoints simultaneously. If they are same, we move towards the middle and then pick two next characters, each from forward and backward directions, and compare. So here we see that the both dots points to the same character. So we are good and we move the dots towards the middle. We continue to do this till dots cross each other or characters pointed by the dots are not equal. So here we see that the dots point to the same character. We move the dots and we observe that now the dots have crossed each other. It indicates that midpoint is crossed. So we stop here and declare the string as a palindrome. So essence of this logic is if midpoint is reached while comparing the characters, it can be concluded that all the characters from the left side have been compared with the characters from the right sides and they are good. So we can say that the given string is a palindrome. Let's take one more quick example. And again the green and red dot representing the endpoints. And we see that they are pointing towards the different characters. So we stop here and declare that the given string is not a palindrome. Before moving to the code, let's get more closer to this approach. So now instead of dots, we will take indices I and j. Let's take an example and label them with I and j indices. Initialize with the respective positions in the string, I equals to 0 and j equals to 3. We compare the values at corresponding indices. We see they are equal. So we increment I and decrement j. I becomes equal to 1 and j becomes equals to 2. Again we compare their values and we do this till I is less than j, that is I and j do not cross each other, or till values at corresponding indices are equal. We see that values at I and j indices are equal, so we move forward and now I becomes equals to 2 and j becomes equals to 1. So I is no more less than j, that is they have crossed each other. We stop here and declare that the given string is a palindrome. Let's go to an IDE and convert this logic into a running code. I've already created a class called check palindrome. Let's get started with creating a function and we name it as isPalindrome. Let's pass the string parameter. Let's name it as input. Now let's initialize our indices with I0 and j as input.length -1. So whatever is the length, -1 is j. Now let's write the loop. We will be using while loop and the condition would be I less than equals to j. Compare the values at I and j indices. If input dot caret at I is not equal to input dot caret at j. So what do we do? If they are not equal, we return false. If we don't return false, we come out, it means that the characters are equal at I and j indices. We increment I and decrement j. So now we come out of the loop. It means we have already compared all the characters at I and j, and now I is greater than j, and we can return true. Okay, looks good. Now let's call it. As our method is a static one, we will be calling it directly via class is palindrome. Am I missing anything? Okay. Let's pass the parameter mom and wrap it in a if block, and we will be printing some simple statements depending upon its output. System dot. We are done here, and it simply says that if our function returns true, print yes given string is a palindrome, and if returns false, print no given string is not a palindrome. And remember, anything can be done with this output. For simplicity reasons, we are simply printing these simple statements. So now we have a complete code. Let's try running it. And we get the expected result as yes given string is a palindrome. Now let's try running it with one more example and negative case. Save it and run. And we get the expected result as no given string is not a palindrome. Let's talk about its time complexity. So as we see that we are iterating the whole string, so our time complexity is order n. But if we compare with our previous approach, we can say that it is optimized in terms of space complexity, because we are not copying the data anywhere else. We are reading and comparing the data from the input string itself. So in that terms, it is optimized. Let's have a look at our previous and this approach together. So this upper part is our previous approach and the lower part is the current approach. In previous approach, we were using string buffer. It means we were copying the data into string buffer and then we were calling the reverse method. But in our recent approach, what we are doing, we are not copying the data anywhere else. We are simply reading and comparing the data from the input string itself. So that's why it is more optimized. So this is it for this video. We will be meeting soon in our next video, and in that video we'll be discussing about the anagram problem. Till then, happy coding and keep smiling.